In today's Russian papers, Putin's pictures, Prigozhin could have got 30 years in prison, and coming soon to Russian schools, defence of the Motherland lessons. The Wagner mutiny was less than a week ago, but it seems the Russian papers have already moved on to discussing Vladimir Putin's doodles. He drew this on an interactive board yesterday. Right. Plus lots of pictures from Putin's trip to Dagestan, trying to create the image of a president loved by the people. Important for the Kremlin to try to do that, just days after a rebellion that challenged Putin's authority. But Nezavisima Gazeta does discuss the mutiny and questions the authorities' decision to drop charges against Yevgeny Prigozhin in exchange for ending the uprising. The headline, Prigozhin could have got 30 years in prison for that march. Dropping the criminal charges against the founder of Wagner contradicts the principle that all citizens are equal before the law. There was no precedent for dropping such a criminal case. Time will tell whether that was a correct decision. How is Prigozhin any better than other convicted mutineers? For example, the decorated ex-GRU military intelligence colonel Vladimir Kvachkov, who in 2013 was given 8 years in a maximum security penal colony for preparing a mutiny. He'd put together a people's militia from different towns to seize the Kremlin. Or the Yakutsk shaman Alexander Gabyshev, who was sent to a psychiatric ward for his public calls to change the constitutional order. In Nezavisima's military review, criticism of how Russia has fought the war in Ukraine, the Ukrainian campaign has not at all gone according to plan. That's more than obvious. The expectation that Ukraine 2022 would be a repeat of Crimea 2014, that is a complete failure of Russian intelligence and analytical structures. As for the political aims of the campaign, right now these appear extremely vague. But the writer's conclusion is not pull out the Russian troops. He writes, only victory will do. That's to say peace on conditions better than pre-war, and such a victory can only be achieved by military means. Talking of military, the headline in Kommersant today, they'll be taught to defend the motherland. Obligatory military training is returning to Russian schools. On the 1st of September 2024, health and safety lessons in Russian schools will be replaced by security and defence of the motherland lessons. On Thursday, MPs, officials from the Defence, Emergencies and Education Ministries and teachers discussed what this should look like. The Defence Ministry said it has already prepared a module that includes combat and firearms training, nuclear, chemical and biological protection, battlefield medicine and service regulations. Teachers will include those who fought in the special military operation. Listen to what the MP Andrei Kartopolov, head of the Duma's Defence Committee, said. Due to the changes in living conditions and the increased level of comfort, today, a 17, 18-year-old is an infantile teenager unprepared for real life. Today the world has entered an era of turbulence. Our children and grandchildren must be ready to defend their country. In other words, forget comfort. Learn how to use a Kalashnikov.